Okay, we just looked at the light-dependent reaction that occurs in the thylakoids. So just to summarize, we've got water here, H2O, is then split. Okay, oxygen is released as a byproduct or a waste, and then the hydrogen is carried by the NADP. Okay, and we have NADPH. That hydrogen comes from here when the water is split. Okay, ATP is also used in this part here as well. Okay, what we're going to do now is look at the light-independent reaction, which is the second half of photosynthesis. So with the light-independent phase, carbon dioxide is captured from the air. Okay, we know that carbon dioxide is all around us, and plants utilize this carbon dioxide and produce oxygen. So it undergoes a series of reactions that uses the hydrogen from the NADPH2 and energy from the ATP from the light-dependent phase. Okay, so basically glucose is produced here. We get that glucose in a second part of our reaction that is produced. Okay, so the light-independent reaction occurs in the stroma. Hydrogens are transported to the stroma to be combined with carbon dioxide using an enzyme called ribisco. Okay, this is the enzyme that produces glucose. Now, the important thing to note is that photosynthesis is an enzyme-controlled reaction. Okay, because it requires enzymes, uh, there are certain factors that can affect the rate of enzyme activity, therefore affecting the rate of photosynthesis. And we'll look at that shortly. Okay, so just to recap, the second point here, the light-independent phase. Okay, we've got carbon dioxide from the atmosphere is coming into this cycle, or the Kelvin cycle, and then we've got the water as well, H2O is then brought in, okay, and then we've got glucose being produced. Okay, C6H12O6 comes from here, comes from here, comes from here, okay. One thing to point out here is that this carrier, NADPH, okay, after the hydrogen has been used, we have got NADP plus, okay. It's lost that hydrogen, H plus, and now we've got an NADP. The NADP is just the carrier that's dropped off its product, okay, just like that truck was dropping off that box of product, the hydrogen. ATP, okay, remember is adenosine triphosphate. There are 3 phosphate groups there, but in this case, a phosphate is used, an inorganic phosphate, and then we now have ADP, adenosine diphosphate, meaning we've got 2 phosphate groups attached to the adenosine. Okay, this process goes around, around, around again and again, and everything is just being carried back and forth with these carriers as long as we've got carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and water.